So this is the Dominion playfield, and we'll go through a very quick introduction. This will be saved on my YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it again. This is the screen you'd normally see when playing the game. So here in the lower left, what I've circled is my information. That's my part of the table. And the cards that I'm playing will appear in the center here, but my supply pile and my discard pile and my own personal card deck will appear below that. Up in the top center is a similar area for all of the other players, and you'll be able to see the card on the top of their discard pile and how many cards they have in their deck at the moment. But that's all you'll be able to see about them, along with the count of their victory points. So if one of them is winning, they'll have more victory points than you. And those are the cards that you're playing. In this case, I'm just starting the game. So those are my entire deck of cards. And what happens here is you'll see a red number in the upper left if there are more than one of a card. So at the moment, I have 7 coppers and 3 estates, and that is my entire personal deck of cards. Every player has their own deck. In the upper center here, we have the pile, the supply pile of action cards. And those are cards that you can buy. They all do different actions, and I'll show you what the actions are later. And they all have a cost. So over here is 4, so the poacher costs 4. And there are 10 of them in this supply pile. Over here, the money cards. Money in Dominion is not like normal money. When you spend it, it goes in your discard pile and that gets shuffled back into your deck. So you can spend it again in a later turn. So that's why when you buy a gold for 6 and it's only worth 3, it makes sense because you'll be able to use it more than once. These are the victory cards. So you'll be able to buy these during the game. You'll notice a province costs 8 and it's worth 6. A duchy costs 5 and it's worth 3. And an estate costs 2 and it's worth 1. Here's the curse card below the victory cards that has a negative value in victory points. So while a province is worth 6 victory points, a curse is worth -1. And in the upper right, there's the undo button. This will be very important to beginner players. When you make a mistake and you catch yourself in it, before your turn is over and it goes to the next player, you can push undo and the other players will get asked if they want to grant you an undo or not. They'll get a little button that says grant deny. And if they grant it to you, you will be able to undo that move and play something else instead. Near the undo button is the kingdom button. When you push that, it gives you a larger view of the action cards, which are here in the upper center. And the kingdom button, when you push it again, puts you back on the playfield that we're seeing now. The log is on the upper right here. This will show you what the other players are doing, and it keeps a history. So you'll be able to see what they've done all through the game. Dominion saves games, and you can actually go back to them later on if you save their number. And this is the chat. So the chat is used to talk with other players, very simple text chat. Also, since Dominion lets you play anyone on the internet, sometimes people will pop up when you're making a table and ask if they can play with you. Here in the upper center, I'm highlighting the price of the merchant. So that merchant costs 3. It's 3 money. We refer to the money in Dominion as money or coins. So a copper is 1 money, and a silver is 2 money, and a merchant costs 3. So you have to have a copper or silver and a silver, or 3 coppers to pay for it. So here's the copper, and I'm circling what it's worth so you can find those. Here's the estate and what it is worth in victory points. Victory points are different from money, and they are how you win. The player with the most victory points at the end of the game will win. And that's how many victory points I have right now in the lower left corner. So here is a smithy card. The smithy is an action card. Action cards do things. So you will buy these and then you'll get a chance to play them. When you play the smithy, you get 3 more cards into your hand. So this is what's called a draw card, because you draw 3 cards. This is a chapel. This is sort of the opposite. It lets you trash cards. So why would you want to trash a card? Because it's a low value card and it's crowding up your deck and keeping you from getting the high value cards in your hands as often. So in general, estates, curses, and coppers are your low value cards, and you may take an opportunity to trash them when you've bought enough stuff that you don't need the coppers anymore. When you're buying more victory points, you don't need the estates. And get rid of curses as soon as you can, because they reduce your victory points. This is a village card, and this is a draw card, and it grants more actions. Well, why would you need more actions? Because each hand starts with 1 action available, and you need an action to play an action card. So if you have 3 action cards in your hand, hope you have something that would give you 2 more actions, because you start out with 1. So you play this village, it draws 1 card for you, so you get another card in your hand, and it gives you 2 more actions. So you can play 2 additional action cards in that hand. Okay, here's our gold money card. Again, it's worth 3, and in the lower left-hand corner, you can see it costs 6. Silver is worth 2 and costs 3. Copper is worth 1 and it costs 0. You can always buy a copper. A province is 6 victory points and it costs 8 money. A duchy or duchy is 3 victory points and it's 5 money. An estate is 1 victory point and it's 2 money. So here we are back on the Dominion screen. When you're starting to play a game that you've arranged with someone, you'll go to matching. And you do that by pushing that matching button in the upper left-hand corner. And you'll see the screen, and if you look in the right, you'll see your friends who are online. And you'll notice that I have a join button. So that means that you can join my table. And when you join my table, if I've already started playing, you can be a spectator. If I've not started playing yet, you can get a seat at the table and play. So after you join, you start out as a spectator. So look in the upper right here, you'll see Brucifer is listed as a spectator. And then Brucifer in the lower left here can push play, and that will upgrade Brucifer to a player. And then you get to play the game. So let's do that now.